Every time this guy opens his mouth, it makes you wonder. Wait for it. Welcome to the Final Takeaway Podcast edition. Guess who we're featuring today? Take a listen and be sure to leave your views in the comment section.
Now, for the incident that happened on the 23rd now, I'd like to give what's really transpired on my end of that story.
I tell the major, my daughter's in there. And the major was listening to me this morning when I tell them. You're sick, you're set for me daughter by the time. You see why talking like that is a lie. And the police are coming to chase me from here last night. And the police are, you know what's left and the police are supposed to be true. And not to be stopping me daughter about the lack of beside here. The police are starting to bail them 4 or 5 times. I don't tell the police when they don't start me daughter still in the back.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fake.
Today we're attending the Court of Public Opinion. We're going to run a recording that just dropped where you'll see and hear from the Doubleday Hotel owner himself. His government name is Bola, and every time this guy speaks trying to clear his name, it only opens new wounds for Adriana Younge's grieving family. It only raises eyebrows. Every time he opens his mouth, suspicions mount in the minds of some people, not everyone, some people. Every time this guy opens his mouth, it makes you wonder why he's trying so hard to convince the world that he's not involved in this tragic death. And dare I say, he has a large following of people who believe in his innocence. But the Court of Public Opinion has already tried this case and made up their mind. They've made their decision. Let's listen to Bola.
Now, for the incident that happened on the 23rd now, I'd like to give what's really transpired on my end of that story. Approximately 2:30 p.m. on April 23rd, 2025, I received a call from my hotel staff members informing me that a guest was reportedly missing. I was at a salon at the time and arrived at the hotel around 12:50 p.m.
So first of all, he said he received a call around 2:30 p.m. but arrived at the hotel at 12:50 p.m. Okay, make that make sense. Let's chalk that up to an honest mistake. What do you think?
Upon arrival, I saw 2 police officers from the Tushin outpost and 2 individuals searching the pool, one of whom was a swimming instructor and the other was a family member. I asked whether the deep end has been checked, to which the instructor replied, "Can you see the bottom?" He's asking me if I can see the bottom. My response to him, "No." I encouraged him to dive all the way to the bottom and feel with his hand. I have already begun to undress to assist personally. The swimming instructor then asked the child grandmother whether Adriana could swim. The grandmother replied, "Yes, she can swim." At this point, the instructor concluded that Adriana was not in the pool and the search was halted. This was the only time someone went into the pool physically to search. I further assist the police to open barns on the ground floor to search. My staff member already assisted them to open the rooms, even the one that occupied with guests. The police was around the area for further investigation. After assisting the police, the search at the hotel paused, and the police left with the family member to seek video footage from neighbors.
Let's stick a pin. First of all, this guy is reading. You heard me right. Reading from a screen or some type of prop in front of him. That's what I observed and could tell from my end, okay? If you take a closer look, you'll see his eyes are moving. Left to right, right to left, okay? That's a sign that someone is reading from something in front of them. So why is he reading and not naturally relying on his own memory of what transpired on that tragic day? It's not that long ago. It's not that long ago. April 23rd was only about what, 80 days ago?
If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
This is so scripted. You hear me? So scripted. This is so scripted. Humor me, Bola, humor us. Anyways, let's get on with this as Bola tried to convince you guys that he's innocent. And remember, this is the court of public opinion. We want you to do your own analysis on what this guy is saying and make your own conclusion. And don't you dare skip this video. We have more to hear from Bola. And just a recap for those who are now following this story to help you better understand this update. In terms of an official police investigation, Bola was the main person of interest in the mysterious disappearance and subsequent death of Adriana Younge. But let's not forget that fingers also point to her paternal grandmother and an uncle who were present at the hotel when Adriana suddenly vanished. Let's listen to this woman who was a part of the live discussion with the Doubleday hotel owner.
I need you guys to start putting pressure on the grandmother and the child that she muzzled from not saying anything. That is where the truth will come out. Right? Don't come here with y'all propaganda and y'all know and y'all see and who on a live who and who put who and who pull. You know something? Y'all is a bunch of hypocrites, right? This man is hurting, just like we also have a family hurting for that child that we cannot bring back. You understand me? But the truth lies with the people who brought that child to the hotel and the pool. That is where the truth starts. And until you guys don't start doing the right thing by putting pressure on that specific grandmother, leave this guy and his family alone. Leave him and his family alone. If you have no evidence to tie him to any sort of crime, leave him and his family alone.
And this woman is not the first person or the first female who has come to Bola's defense. Remember Jennifer Ali? Yeah, she was hounding Adriana's family in defense of Bola. She said he's innocent. Now, people are entitled to their own opinions. They're entitled to side with Bola, not side with Bola. Only those who know what really happened. And dare I say, we have to remember we cannot rule out, regardless of all the circumstances and what we've seen and what we've heard, there is still a chance. And don't come after me for this. There is still a chance. There is still a possibility. And like I said, don't come after me for this. This is my opinion. And others share the same opinion. There is a chance that this was a legitimate drowning, accidental drowning. Well, the next thing people will say is that they searched the pool. I wasn't there. I haven't seen a video of anyone searching the pool. But if they did search the pool thoroughly and nothing was there, then you have your answer. This case is so mysterious. There's so many moving parts. I'm not a part of the police. I'm not front and center of this case. I'm not an investigator, so I don't know the ins and outs and the finer details. But as a third party looking out from the outside, there is still a possibility that this could be a drowning. On April 23rd, 2025, the young girl was recovered from the swimming pool at Bola's hotel, where she was last seen swimming. She drowned according to a post-mortem exam done on April 28th, 2025. Based on all we know on the autopsy report, which by the way was a highly guarded document for whatever reason, even the family, we're told, didn't have a copy of this autopsy report. The report did not state whether this was a natural, accidental, homicidal, or self-inflicted drowning. Young's relatives and a section of the public have pointed fingers at the hotel owner since day one. He continues to deny involvement, which reminds me, guys, do you remember this photo was circulating online? This photo showing a guy standing by the pool while Adriana was swimming. And do you recall certain people saying that it was Bola himself? Well, listen to what Bola has to say about that.
At the pool, when I showed them the video, what I was wearing when I arrived there, that's going to clear that up. But they have to give me some time to make sure I can post it first.
Of course, there are those who don't believe a word that comes out of his mouth. But believe it or not, there are just as many or even more people who believe he had nothing to do with this tragedy. Speaking of which, There is an update on the case from the police. We just learned from the crime chief, Wendell Blenheim, that Adriana's case is still open and it remains an active investigation. The public was under the impression that the police closed the case after Canadian investigator Leonard McCushin found no evidence of foul play in the girl's death. Now, do you remember Adriana's family saying that Bola was uncooperative when they were trying to search the hotel? Well, wait till you hear what Bola says next.
At 3:48 p.m., the hotel staff called and said the family member was misbehaving and threatening my staff and the hotel guests. I returned back to the hotel at 4 p.m. I tried to assist the family members again, but they were not cooperating.
And this was on the same day?
The same day, on the 23rd.
On the 23rd. Okay.
And they were not cooperating. They keep using the indecent language and using violent terms. At this time, I called for the police assistance. At that time, I was looking for security for my staff and my guests, because everybody did want to check out because they feel unsafe. That's the reason why I called the police for assistance. And at that time, the police indicated to me, based on CCTV footage, the girl was seen leaving with a red rum. I notify my hotel staff and I leave. Now, later that evening, I received word that a mob was throwing objects at the hotel. Staff and guests were terrified. I returned and filed a report to the Tushin police outpost. Then I head back to the hotel for the police to arrive, which I stay until the CID from the Lenore police station has arrived at 2200 hours. When the CID arrived, myself, the mother of Adriana, the aunt, and a niece of the missing of Adriana, and 5 CID detectives searched all the hotel guest rooms, who was checked in and the empty rooms. We opened all the barn, the storage room, the attic, the laundry room, the server room, and all this was searching when the CID rank was on his mobile device recording every single move that they were searching. So they have footage that they were searched this entire hotel. At this time, the entire hotel surrounding was searched 3 times by the family member and police. The search concluded at 12:30 a.m. on the 24th of April. No evidence or suspicious activity was found that they have bring to attention to us.
I'll tell you what, if nothing else, he's got his timings and whereabouts down packed as he attempts to convey to the public that he has an alibi on his whereabouts at the time Adriana was at the hotel and when she vanished. Okay. We previously uploaded at least 2 videos about a month ago where Bola provided his side of the story during an interview on another social media platform. Feel free to check out those videos linked below this video to see if you spot any inconsistencies in his recount of what really went down on that day. Keen eyes will spot the inconsistency. And interestingly, in this new video that dropped recently, he doesn't mention chlorine in this version of his story. Remember, he previously said that he knows why Adriana's skin was discolored, and he implicated a certain bartender whom he said has the responsibility to pour chlorine in the swimming pool at nights. And Bola said that's how he believed Adriana's skin appeared discolored when she was recovered. Also, in one of the previous videos we uploaded, Bola said the grandmother was helping to look for Adriana. In this video today, he said a family member was there when he arrived, but he's not sure if it was the grandmother. Inconsistencies can be quite telling, added to the fact that he's now reading from a script. From a script, guys, from a script. He's reading from something. Somebody's going to have to convince me that he wasn't reading from a script. If he wasn't reading, somebody will have to convince me as to why his eyes were darting, moving right to left, left to right. But that doesn't mean he's guilty as charged based on public opinion, even if he's reading from a script. But it does raise a lot of eyebrows, a whole lot of eyebrows. Also, remember the police said they did a DNA test on Bola. Well, they found no evidence of foul play, even though they didn't specifically say what the DNA test results were. Keep that in mind. On April 23, 2025, a typical family outing turned tragic when Adriana suddenly vanished from the pool where she was last seen. Unfortunately and sadly, she was recovered the very next day. According to police reports, Bola was arrested and questioned. The police later released him with conditions that he remains in the jurisdiction until the investigation is closed. Despite suspicions of foul play, the police investigation and the autopsy report found no evidence of such. After almost 2 months and 2 autopsies, the girl was laid to rest on June 22, 2025. As the family continues to grieve and search for the truth on what happened on that tragic day, there is still no shortage of theories from family members and from members of the public as to what they think really happened on that day. Be sure to turn on your YouTube notifications so you don't miss when we upload the next podcast edition. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video.